You want to count it down that one.
3, 2, 1. Man, I'm so glad to have a friend of mine in the house today. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Mirror Our Times. I got a dynamic duel in the house today with my friend Dr. James McCray, and our co-host
Richardson here.
A.B. Richardson.
Welcome.
Now, we're going to be interviewing Dr. McCray and find out who is James McCray, as a matter of fact. Sir, who is James McCray?
Well, first, let me thank you, Mr. Johnson, and you, Archbishop Richardson, for this invitation and the opportunity to be here on your show. I appreciate this. And I've been looking forward to it for a long time, huh?
Many years.
Since we did Tab Vista, huh?
That's a
when
while
we
ago.
started taking all those pictures and said we're gonna get on TV. So I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir.
I am James McCray. I'm the executive director of Tabernacle Community Development Corporation, a 501c3 founded in 2002 here in the city and county of San Francisco. We came together, we meaning 5 local pastors, Reverend Boyd, Reverend Green, Reverend Calvin Jones, who has left us, Dr. Aurelius Walker, and myself. The 5 of us came together. The impetus really came, in a sense, from Reverend Boyd, who brought us together initially for worship and for service here in the city, as I was at that time the pastor of Jones Memorial United Methodist Church. And out of that coming together for fellowship, then Mayor Willie Brown invited us to a day with him. And he laid out to us, the 5 of us, that we needed to organize for the sake of what was going to be happening in the shipyards in the days to come. And also to support, at that time, Lennar over Forest Hills, if you remember that struggle. So we came together and began to be interested in working together, the 5 of us, the 5 churches, and we began with a number of things. We did education after school. We established a charter school.
Oh, wow.
We then discovered that everything we went through cycles, and when the administration, the government, or whoever was providing the support, the funds changed, so did the color, if you remember the whiz. What was then important changed, and we had to move from education. We went into TANF, welfare to work. So at each of our churches, we established TANF programs to work with that. As maximally, we got up to about 400 families, helping those families, particularly the men, as we partnered with NOVA and created we called it Cell to Couch program that went along with welfare to work, getting people on jobs. When that failed across the state or ended, we said, what can we do that will enable us to continue to address the needs of the community? And at that time, all of us were pastors of Black churches. What would address the community's needs? Education, housing, community, family support, advocacy.
Okay.
So that we came together to do those things: education, housing, advocacy. The housing issue presented itself this way to us. We tell the story. One Easter, you couldn't get into Jones Memorial.
No, you couldn't.
The next Easter, a few chairs. Then there was space the next Easter. And we began, all 5 of us, to experience the out-migration of our congregation.
Okay.
That's right.
And it was that out-migration that brought us towards the issue of, what do we do around housing? What do we do around housing? As at that time, the San Francisco Housing Authority and the United States Housing Authority was moving away from doing projects to establish what they call the RAD project. That is a rental assistance program that enabled for-profits and nonprofits to come together to provide local housing, to take over the housing authority facilities,
Okay.
remodel them, move the residents out, fix them up, and move them back in.
Okay.
I received a call one night that said that all the Mercies, Chinatown, CDC related, they had all come together to partner in this new RAD project.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Tabernacle? I was asked, because by that time we had established our
yeah.
501c3. I said, well, we didn't
Where
know
are you?
anything about this.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So we then got invited to the RAD projects.
Mm-hmm.
We became one of the 14 groups involved, but we had no project because at that time the projects were divided up in the Mayor's Office of Housing among those developers that were familiar and had track records. Tabernacle was a couple of years old, no familiarity. We were working at that time. I'm getting
You was new, right?
with Kaiser to build the replacement housing for Kaiser there on O'Farrell.
Right.
So we partnered with Kaiser to build that. That was our first
wow.
effort. 21 units, 2 bedrooms, 1 bedrooms, and studio. Brother Richardson worked with us on that. We worked to labor to get the money, to pull it together, to get Kaiser to move, and to get the city to support us. We received it, we got it.
Wow.
Okay?
About time.
All right. Now, then we moved to RAD. We had to then begin to advocate before the Housing Authority and the city to get Tabernacle included.
Okay.
Mr. Charlie Walker.
Charlie Walker.
That was my buddy, man.
At that time, I had been appointed by Mayor Brown to serve on enforcement, and then enforcement was merged with Muni and became the San Francisco MTA.
Empty, right.
All right.
Yeah,
So
it changed from
Mayor
Muni,
Brown
yeah.
moved me from enforcement, parking and traffic,
Mm-hmm.
to Muni.
Mm-hmm.
And I became the second chairperson of the new SFMTA.
Okay.
But in that situation, Mr. Walker would come every meeting almost and give us the blues about what was happening around the T line
Right.
and Hunters Point.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Walker pulled together busloads of people to come down and support Tabernacle before the Housing Authority and the Mayor's Office so that we would be included in the RAD project.
Right on,
Wonderful.
Charlie.
And
Right on,
out
Charlie.
of that effort, Tabernacle and Mr. Walker, we received Robert Pitts
Plaza.
Pitts Plaza. We received West Side Courts,
Okay.
and we received Alice Griffin.
Okay.
Partnership, McCormick, Barron, and Salazar, and related to do this redevelopment work.
Those were the development, the companies, the housing company.
That the partnership between us as nonprofits and them as profits to do this work.
Okay.
Okay? So now we have West Side Courts, we have Pitts, and in our program, you will see that we had to develop a wraparound service arm that would provide in each of these takeovers from the redevelopment, from San Francisco Housing Authority, a complete wraparound service for the tenants and it is or the residents. And it is that work that we partnered with FRH to provide those wraparound services,
FRH.
which is Family Resource House,
Okay.
which is Reverend Banks,
Yeah, Reverend.
Danielle Banks, Big Rich, all of
Bill
them
Big Rich, yeah.
are involved with FRH and providing the services that go on in the residences that we are part owners of.
Oh,
Great.
wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Great.
And their purpose is to continue the work of, in my mind, I call it moving our people from unemployment, from need to employment, to work, to housing, and hopefully building wealth.
Okay, that
Okay.
sounds great.
So-
Can you slide in a little bit?
A little bit more.
Yeah,
So
don't-
Tabernacle now has approximately 700 units in the city.
Gee,
Good
whiz.
grief.
And we are now moving towards breaking ground in the sense of coming up from the vertical on 3300 Mission.
Okay,
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
In the pipeline, of course, is the work that we started many years ago out at Hunters Point on Block 1.
Right.
And you will see we're still working to try to pull together a plan that we can get going.
now,
And that's before OCII.
yeah, now,
OCI,
you've got some terrific projects that you've done and you're doing. So do you have your own architectural, who does the architecture?
They have a team.
We form a team.
You form a
We
team.
form a team.
Uh-huh,
And the team includes architect, contractors,
mhm,
right? Subs,
uh-huh,
all of that.
okay, so,
Okay. But now here is where advocacy has to happen, because all of these relationships are under the auspices of the Mayor's Office of Housing.
mhm,
And the Mayor's Office of Housing has its rules and requirements and regulations for who is qualified to work on these projects.
mhm.
So we're working with our locals to try to make sure that they're qualified when we're ready to break ground on the various projects we do to
Okay,
do the work.
okay,
And to also work with the coordinating groups around the Bay Area
okay.
to help us do that.
Okay, since you have a slide in, we don't want you to fall off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Okay.
But anyway,
Here I am. Thank you.
but anyway,
Oh, my
I
goodness.
really love that you guys are doing what you're doing and have done what you did, and you have contact with builders and architects and all that, because maybe we can work something out. You know about the Fillmore and the Safeway and all of that. So if we can work with we can do this apart from this program. But since you have the architects and all that, we want to design some things. So would it be a possibility to work with your group? We work with your group and with some development in the Fillmore, since you guys are doing it and have the people already. Would that be a possibility?
I would say yes, but our team is on the ground meeting with those who are meeting.
Mhm.
So you'll see Mr. Clater and Mr.
They'll come
Green
up.
around
They're there.
meeting. But we're trying to stay, as difficult as it is, focused on housing.
Okay.
Focused on housing.
Okay.
Who's James McCray? For 30 plus years, I was a pastor.
Mm.
Uh,
30 years.
30 years.
I retired with 34
Yeah,
years
30
of
years.
pension
They
credit.
don't look like you that old, though, man.
He's not.
And in the
That's
text,
the Lord, I guess.
and in the text, we are told that for a people who are in exile,
Mm-hmm.
people who are looking for their homeland, there is a program that they ought to follow.
Right.
And if you want it, it's in Jeremiah 29.
Right.
The Lord says to his people, do these things
Mm-hmm.
while you're in exile until I come for you.
That's right.
And the first thing on the list is
Wait, let me.
build
first thing.
housing.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
This is like it's a conversation between us three, but we don't want to leave out the audience.
Yeah.
When you expressing to me, express to them too,
Yeah.
so you guys can be included and know, get up off your seat and get involved,
Yeah.
because we're doing this stuff. We're doing these things for the community,
Yeah.
for you. So, anyway,
Okay.
just go ahead.
So our mission, in our mission statement, deals with building housing.
Mhm.
Right.
And we've developed from where I left off, namely dealing with what we would call public housing and its remake under RAD.
Right.
But we have understood that our mission is to help our families
Right.
move from
Well, you keep
up-
moving on.
move from public housing to ownership.
To ownership. Okay.
So we have purchased land up Highway 80 and are in the process of building our first subdivision. That we began with the mission of the black family.
Right.
Who is the black family? 72% of the black family are single mothers with children.
That's true.
72%.
That's a lot of people.
So when you talk about the black family moving up, that is who you've got to try to figure out mechanisms and housing to address. How do you build a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom unit for less than $1 million?
That's pretty difficult.
That's the struggle we're in now.
Yeah.
How we've purchased the land and how now to begin our first model unit involving the communities around the Bay Area that we are familiar with.
But are you talking about moving the community? You must be talking about moving the communities out of the Bay Area to
Well,
down.
in this case, some will have to are already gone.
Right,
But
right.
the point is, how do we begin to build the equity and the wealth?
Right.
You can't do that here. We couldn't get
expensive.
any land here.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you build a model? People are in Antioch. People are in.
People all over. Right.
We're now down to whatever percentage they say
Yeah,
we are here.
yeah.
So, as we are wont to lament at our board meetings, we did not reverse the out-migration.
No, you didn't.
The out-migration
Has
happened.
happened. It's happened.
Yes,
Has happened and
now.
is happening.
yes,
Yeah.
and it is happening.
So,
So,
those of you, let me just.
so we
those
thought.
of you who got a house, keep that house. Keep that house in San Francisco because it's the price is going up. So hold on to it. Don't sell it. Rent it out. Do something. You get nurses to stay in it or something. Figure out a way. Don't sell your property. That's what I would say.
So
Yeah.
our hope was, this is all who James McCray is. Our board's hope was when the pandemic hit
Mhm.
and churches shut down,
That's what did it.
we began to sense then. So in our records, you will see through the auspices of the state health and Governor Newsom,
Mm-hmm.
who work assiduously to get us that money.
Right.
We worked with 39 churches across the state
Mm-hmm.
to provide testing and shots and health aid to enable the churches also to receive employees, to carry on work and ministries of outreach
Okay.
through this health ministry. And we believe we kept 37 of those churches still viable and functioning.
Oh wow, that was great.
Right? Now what? When you look at right now, where are black families?
Where are they?
All right?
And,
We went to the church because that's where we're from. So that we begin in our churches to prepare our people to purchase these homes that we're moving towards building.
Amen.
So that's the work we're doing now.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
So what does that do for San Francisco? Right now we're trying to keep the property we have
Yeah.
up.
Right.
Alice Griffin, Wells Pitts, trying to keep that habitable and livable.
Yeah.
Right now, that's the struggle.
Yes.
Because Mayor Lori
Lori.
and the housing Mayor's Office of Housing have just approved an influx of money to go into repairs, and we're waiting for all of that to work through the banks and the system
Okay.
and all that. Because you always got to get it out the system.
You got to know how to pull it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
That's right.
So that's a great thing that you guys are doing. What about praying? How did how do you think prayer came into this? How do you shift? But don't slide out of it. Don't.
7 churches:
That is prayer.
Bethel, Providence, Jones Memorial, Christian Center, True Hope. During the season of Lent, this is back in 1980s, we began coming together. And we worshiped together across all of those lines that these denominations set up. And we were shocked by how we could get along.
Yeah.
That Baptists
Listen,
and
folks, listen.
Methodists and
Tell 'em.
Pentecostals would come together. And we prayed. We prayed around the Word. 7 weeks of Lent. On Good Friday, which we still do, we all came together for a meal and for Tabernacle, now we call it our annual meeting, to report on what we're doing to the community. And the community prayed.
Right. Is that right?
Oh,
You
they've been
want
doing
to
it for a while.
look into that camera.
And the community
Praying
prayed.
works.
And the
Prayer
prayer-
works, and if
and
you're praying together,
Together.
if
Yes, we were.
you're praying together, or you pray at home by yourself, or do you pray out loud, or how
It's just a service, and when 2 or 3 are assembled together in the name, that's what he's bringing up here. So it's more than 2 or 3. It's denominations that were never talking to each other.
No, I want the people to
same
listen
level.
at this here. That's why I really want everybody to listen
on the
to get
same
something
level.
out of it. You know.
On the same level.
Go ahead.
They came as one
Mhm.
and assembled, as he said, biblical teaching teaches, in the name of God, the Lord and Savior. And these are the prayers that have come out of this.
Mhm.
They're still working together. But the point I want the viewers to listen to, advocacy. You've just heard a master plan. This plan has been in action for many years. But the community in the state of California, in the Bay Area, is needed more now. Advocacy. The problem Tabernacle and black businesses, corporations have, is it's called redlining. Redlining is a huge problem with banking, insurance, loans, grants, where it is not equally divided up. It's not a reparations. What Tabernacle has managed to do out of all is break a few chains. Those chains are Tabernacle, the feast of the Tabernacle. So right now they have an opportunity all over again to raise the necessary awareness that capital gain is needed. So if you have $1 billion out there, if you're listening and you're watching this, and you care about the community of black people, you got to say black people with this. They have a system in place for investment, for developers, for contractors, for governments, foreign and domestic, to utilize them as a light in the Bay Area to step up like the others. They need people to understand one thing. It takes big bucks in big cities. And so by contributing your wealth, go to their page, send them some money, send them $1 million, send them 2 million, send them 3 million, send them 4 million, send them $1 billion, do a fundraiser, do an annual banquet for this particular purpose, where you can now say, you can point to, if you are a Jobs or a Salesforce or a Merrill Lurey, look what we have done. That's what's needed.
I say amen.
Yeah.
And I would just say is, yes, in addition to that corporate prayer, yes, as James McCray, who is he, I have regular routine of prayer. We Methodists There's a method for how we live our lives and walk and pray and study.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
that-
the same as any other preacher, right?
But
They have a different method.
everybody has their method. Presbyterians have theirs,
Amen.
but Baptists have theirs. But the point is, we all doing the same thing, praying and
praying.
studying the scripture. Yeah, right. But how we do it may be different.
Yeah.
But what if prayer is saying to God,
I need a house.
yes, that's in His Word.
Mm-hmm.
He says you need a house. Here's how y'all go about getting the houses till I come again. He tells us. So while we're praying, we're placing back into the Spirit, into the Word, His Word.
Okay, His Word.
And it's in me,
Mhm.
and it's in all of us now.
Okay.
We need a house.
Right, right.
We need his house.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you gotta believe when you
Yeah.
when you say it, you gotta when you're putting it. I'm reading something right now about word. When your word is something, when you put something out there, it's sort of, if you believe it, it brings it to you. If you act on what you're saying, just like we want to do this program, so we act on it and fill out the paperwork and been doing it for years.
Right.
So if you get behind what you're talking about, then it's more likely to happen. If you pray, you're asking your Father in heaven to help you to do this, and if you got to believe it though, and work toward it.
So let me.
But the thing that I would want to say is that that believing's fruit. You see it. You see James McCray believes because he, in this case, told you 25 years ago we were going to build houses.
Right.
And in 25 years, we
built them.
Them tabernacle people believe.
Yeah, right, okay.
Right? And we got to fight each other. We just came out of a board meeting and whoa, man, you know what? Well, part of the board says, no, we don't want to go. Well, we want to build this and we want. All these years, we've had to believe that it's bigger than us.
Yeah, right.
And the other thing is, because it is this system, back to the word, you're laying up your timber for another day.
That's it.
Right? We are laying it up so that our joy is those people come out of our apartments feeling good.
Yeah, right, okay.
They're raising their children feeling good.
Yeah, well.
Right? And you say, thank you, Lord. I got a chance to contribute to your plan.
Right, that's right.
You know?
That's right.
Because, and I wanted to go to this, because when we sat down, just like when we came in, there's a system. You went through your system to get this all ready for us to go. Right. You got to do that. You can't just come in and we start talking. Yeah. You got to do all. Yeah, you got to get all of the clocks.
Lighting,
Same thing with development. Now, our biggest problem is Tabernacle now, and Rev put his hand on it, but we are trying to build where we have in place the equity to do the building we need to do.
That's it.
And it has been our problem, the reason why we have to get smaller and smaller shares. We've been building our shares, but we get smaller shares because we can't bring the equity to the table. Just like when you get ready to build a house. You got 20% down?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah. I don't
Oh, you don't? Okay, well, you want to buy the house, did you go see Reverend Richardson and let him give you 10 of that? That's half. So half of it now is his. You're right. And we go see you and you give us, and we put it together. So we got to share it until we can get to that place where we build our equity and our organizations to really participate and not have to be the junior partner. And when you're the junior partner, it's just like in your house. When you get ready to paint, you don't call your neighbor.
No.
So now you telling whoever it is you want them to call your neighbor Tabernacle to paint. Well, okay, then Tabernacle got to go to its board. So they just skip you.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's
in
right.
pain or whatever they're doing.
Mhm. I got it. I
And
got it.
our fight is to be able to make the rule the rule.
So I want to put this out
Yeah.
there too.
Go ahead.
When we know you work with small businesses and as well as with the Black Chamber of Commerce.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure they've been involved with that as well.
Yeah.
And so yeah, maybe you better lean back in, Doc, a little
Oh.
bit. And so what Ken was referring to, just a question, is they're going to put housing in the Safeway parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they were talking about the Safeway. It's off your topic, but they're going to put the store in there, but the parking lot is slated for development.
Mm.
That's what we're trying to say. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Parking.
The
And
parking lot,
you got the
Safeway's
architects.
parking lot is slated for development.
Ah.
There will be housing there.
Mm.
That is the plan on the books.
Okay.
So he was saying if you could be included in that process, if Tabernacle fits, or if the community says we'd like for Tabernacle to be a part of the building because of your experience, because of your outreach, because of your plan, because of your home ownership, is that something Tabernacle may bring to his board to see
Yes.
if they could do that?
My answer would yes. I would be interested in us looking at that in terms of the housing and the parking. That would be something to look at. Yes.
Yeah, that because what I'm finding is a lot of these developments, we have young people with no skills, and they need to learn how to do architecture. I don't know if this could be a training program or whatever, but we need to, instead of having developers come in from everywhere
Exactly.
and take the job from us, we
Mhm.
need to be learning how to do these things, and
That's why we
That's
use
what
the
you're
word
doing.
affordable housing.
That's it.
There's
That's
a
it.
system to it,
uh-huh.
and there is key to it is there must be local community participation.
Okay.
Affordable.
Can you say that into the
There
camera?
must be, for there to be an affordable housing project, there must be local community participation.
Uh-huh. Why is that?
That's the law.
That's the law.
Is that the law?
That's the law.
Oh,
That's on the
okay.
books.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Well,
that's the niche we moved into to try to be that local participant for San Francisco's development.
yeah, okay.
But we had to, we've had to grow up over 20 years, as I alluded to earlier,
Yeah,
to be able to really participate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So we didn't want that opportunity
Yeah.
to slip. But also the African American Art and Culture Center is slated to build housing. Also, Ella Hill Hutch, the tennis court area in the back,
Oh yeah, that's a big.
is also slated to be housing. So the reason why I mentioned it, he mentioned that, is because we just want to make you aware of that so you can join the conversation with the mayor.
Yes.
Since
and
you're
the mayor
doing,
of
since you're
housing.
building,
Yeah.
you're building
Yeah.
houses,
Yes.
and that's what I'm.
So he's qualified.
This is why I believe in
Well-
prayer, because it's serendipitous.
Yeah.
Here it is. You now
Yeah.
telling me here's some opportunities.
Yeah, some opportunity.
You've been over here, but look what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah,
You're right.
and also the opportunity I'm talking about is the Fillmore Heritage Center.
Mm.
Fixing the kitchen, the
Just
gas pipes that's going to the
upgrading,
stoves, and
upgrading.
just upgrading all of that.
Mm.
Since you got people that's building, they know how to do all of that stuff. So we can, instead of spending money hiring these contractors to come in and fix all that, we need to do it ourselves since we have the people. That's all I'm saying. Since you guys working with I didn't know you guys were doing all
They're
this
bigger
stuff.
than what you think.
I didn't know you guys were doing all that stuff, man. Till I saw the information that you sent me.
And
I said, "Oh man,
so
this
are
is
you-
a heavyweight,
Are
man."
you able
And
to
you're so
work with?
meek and nice, man. You don't look like a grouchy business person.
Oh,
I am.
He's the brain, brother.
I'm a grouchy business.
No,
Yeah.
so Ken, my point is this: the San Francisco, as you are a member of communications
Yeah, San
for the San Francisco
the
African American
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce. You see, these particular type of programs are designed. What we're doing is bringing people together.
Right.
African American Chamber, Tabernacle are probably working together on certain things, but here's an opportunity now, today, for you to go into communications and say, I've communicated, I've had something happen, and we want to entertain if this is a possibility, because they're in discussion right now with the Safeway parking lot, with your president, Mrs. LeBlanc, Amos Brown, as well as others.
Yeah, where's others? You know?
Right now.
So we want to present another way they could
Opportunity.
do opportunity for black folks.
Black business.
You know, and black business, you know, architects and carpenters, and I don't know what you call them, structural engineers and all of them.
Construction trades.
The construction trades to come in, maybe to work with your group. You know, I don't know how you would do it, but to have a program out there for young people, you know, that's got their head on right. That want to learn how to, you know, do the lay dry rock and sheet rock, or how to be a carpenter, or how to be a business person, how to do these different things. So after the project is finished, they got some skills. Now the building is built just like now, and I never could understand this. All that development they've been doing in the Fillmore on those housing projects. First they build them, and then they build them, and then 10 years later they come back and remodel them. They must have built them with cheap material in the first place, where it'll rot away in a year or 10 years. And then the brothers you see who working on those projects, all they're doing is holding stop signs and doing the traffic. They're not learning anything. They're not learning the skills. They bring people in from somewhere else and gain the skills. And when the project is gone, they're gone to open up their own business. And the people are left there with no skills. So what you're doing is a great thing.
Yeah. I think we just have to say, and I think I know the Chamber of Commerce and Ms. LeBlanc and you all are going to do that. We have to participate.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, bring us to the table so that we can participate.
Okay, good.
And after that, there are some things we can't do, some things we can't.
Yeah.
That's what we want to find out and do.
That sounds wonderful.
You know?
That sounds wonderful.
So you got a question. How supportive, not to change the subject, has your family been to you during this entire 30, 50-year process? That's a deep question, I know.
My family's been wonderful, wonderful.
Well, I know
it's just when you are here, you're not there.
Oh my!
right.
And I've had the blessing, and that's blessing in the word. I see my children's children now. I have great grands running around now.
Yeah.
And there is that part of you that you wish you had more time.
That's right. I feel the same way.
You know, and more time with, my sons and my daughters, they're 50s now, but they kid, Dad, you was out preaching somewhere else and we was, you have to hear that.
Yeah, well,
right?
and you should hear it, because I feel the same way. I'm in the community trying to do something. I think I'm trying my best to do what I can for my people, because I've raised my kids. I know they're gonna be all right. I know they're gonna go see. I've raised them. And the wife I had at the time. But then, like you say, when you're not around them all the time, man, and then when you see them, you say, well, you gonna take me when we gonna go out and all that kind of stuff, and okay, we'll do it, and it never happens the way you want it to happen, but you want to be there at least. But you can't.
My wife and I are now raising a grandson.
Yeah.
And he's 15 years old.
Wow.
And we've had him since he was 2, and we've had differences about that and how that ought to happen.
Yeah, man.
But yet we got him. I mean,
Right.
he's there now.
Yeah.
You look and you say, "Whoa, we didn't squash it." I mean, we didn't.
Yeah, you
That's
came
tough.
out okay.
Yeah, and
Good
he
work.
still speaks to you.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Yeah.
So family, Wish I could have done better,
Mm-hmm.
but I am so thankful for my family. And I, you know, my dad's been dead now a few years, but when the last time my father came out, he stood in the rain to watch us break ground on Tab Vistas.
Oh,
And
wow.
I looked through it, and he was sick and in the rain,
Oh, wow.
standing there supporting his son. That's family.
Oh, wow.
My mother's 96 almost, and she's
Oh.
still alive, so I spend a lot of
You
time.
take care
with her.
but just
Yeah.
as busy as
Yeah.
Dr. McCray is, he still watches after his mother, y'all. Did you know that?
Mm. Yes,
How
ma'am.
important is that to you? Because that really takes dedication to
Yeah,
family.
yeah. You know, again, it's a struggle. You,
Yes, we got that.
yeah, you make choices, and you have to live with them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
have you
So-
achieved,
so
have you
what's-
achieved one more question? Your objectives, your personal, and then your organization's goals. How much further is it going to take?
Who is James McCray? I'm a cancer survivor.
Mm.
And in 2005, they gave me 5 years,
Mm.
Wow.
and I'm still here. Yes, I have.
Yes,
I've,
you have.
I've been blessed, you know, I thought my great mission was to build Jones Memorial's new church.
Right.
We got that done. It's there.
The ministers did that, man. You guys were dynamite in the earlier days with
yeah.
all the different housing. It's in the Fillmore.
So that now I'm just thankful, and I don't have any, you know, we wanted to get a certain thing achieved with Tabernacle, and it's done. Now we're 25 years in, and new things are starting. And we're looking for succession plans. We're looking for succession plans. All of our organizations need people to step up, work on boards, work on committees to get the work done. Because all of us, we're 70s and
Getting-
going
getting
on,
older.
you know? Right?
70s and 80s.
Yeah. So
So those that are watching, is there? I'm gonna put your card up, but you want to say say the
Website.
phone numbers and the website
okay.
and all that. And
all right. Well, you can go and look at our website at www.tcdc-sf.org. That's Tabernacle Community Development Corporation. And we could be reached at email at tcdced@outlook.com.
okay, so what's next for you? What's next? What's the next project? Or are you
Right.
tired? First of all, let me ask you this: are you tired?
Yeah, most mornings.
Is he
I
tired?
get up every morning tired now, but
What do you think?
but it's fulfilling.
Yeah.
What's next? I'm really keep dealing with my board around succession plans and trying to have this tabernacle in place for the next group to take, and to have, you know, they have something. There is an organization, there is a reputation, there is relationships, and whoever takes it over, you know, from us, all of us in our 70s and 80s, and Walker's 93.
Good.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's our
They're
concern
in
now.
good hands. You're looking for leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Train-
see,
Train
folks,
young leadership.
See, those youngsters that's watching, see, the groundwork is being set, it's being set. And if you're about something and believe in something like Dr. McCray and the other brothers who have started these different projects and things like that, you got something to look forward to. You got something that's, if your head is on your head, your shoulders right. If you want to do something and you have discipline and you went to school and learned different things. Now, what would you tell a youngster in there that was interested in maybe looking into maybe being a part of Tabernacle? Should he go to school and learn architecture or what? What would be a good?
I'd say all of that and call and say I want to volunteer and
That's
see
the
if
main
we
thing.
could get cadres together. doing volunteer kinds of things that need to be done in the various centers where we work.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh.
My mind went somewhere, and I wanted to come back to that.
Okay.
Where are we going?
Now, where have we-
We began many years ago, and Senator Weiner joined us
God, what
to
goodness.
put in place a mechanism that would enable churches to be able to speed up developing its land.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And so we have begun working with churches that want to do development and see housing as a part of that future development. So that's where we're going next, creating relationships with congregations that help them develop their own
Uh-huh.
holdings.
Well, I think that's a great thing because a lot of churches have a lot of property around, like in the Fillmore. I see a lot of churches with big old parking lots, big, just like Third Baptist.
Mhm.
It has a huge parking lot
Mhm.
that can be developed into something, and it's just there. And there's a lot of other churches that have these big lots around them. So I see what you're saying.
And we're that for us as a housing development corporation is what we're doing to try to preserve
Mm-hmm.
African American community.
Mm-hmm.
That's the institution.
Mhm.
And if we can't keep it, then what are we going to start next?
Yeah, no, we need. We got
You know?
So all them preachers out there who got churches and with property around, what would you tell them? Just looking at he's talking to the pastors and people
Landowners.
and saying the landowners.
Right now, a number of them are involved with the mayor's office of housing, LISC, Tabernacle, and local churches to start looking at with the government, the mayor's office, all of that, how we do this, and what entities are able to do it or prepared to take on development.
It's big.
Okay, now
Yeah.
are you guys using AI in any of this? How does AI fit in this?
Right now, it fits into most everything, and you don't even know it.
Uh-huh.
It's
there.
amazing to me because those of us who are on Zoom, that as soon as you finish your Zoom meeting, you get an AI report.
Oh, wow.
Immediately.
Boom, it's there. I said, whoa,
Is
it
that
scared
right?
me the first time. I was like, ooh, what do I do with this?
Wow.
I don't want them to know before my secretary gets
Even
it
gets the information.
and says what we're reporting, right?
Yeah, but it did it.
But it's there.
Automatic.
It's already there.
Built in.
So it is there. Now, for 20 plus years, I taught at the Graduate Theological Union, which is there in Berkeley. So I was at the Methodist Seminary, and I was at the Presbyterian Seminary at San Francisco Theological Seminary in San Anselmo. And I taught graduate students and doctoral students. What I think is my fear is and I haven't been maybe since the pandemic was the last time I taught. And my school was bought out by Redlands. Redlands University
really?
bought out San Francisco Theological Seminary, and they wanted to use the campus primarily to support their Silicon Valley work.
Oh my goodness.
So the seminary became a department. Okay. I don't know how I got into that.
That was out on Silver, right?
No, that's out in San Anselmo.
Oh, San Anselmo.
San Anselmo, California, across the bridge. And it's the Presbyterians. So, and the Presbyterians have their way of training their clergy. The Methodists across, and Baptist Seminary of the West, and all those are the part of that whole GTU. Wow. So, AI, that's what I was trying to get to. My fear is that
Coaches everywhere. I mean,
What is your fear?
we will our people will become more lazy.
Right, they won't.
and will be less able. And I'm talking about students. I'm only dealing with me teaching.
Yeah.
I watched as how the writing and speaking skills of our students went down over my years.
Right.
Now they get this AI.
You ain't got to do nothing.
Where are they? Who are they? It was the question you asked me first.
Where's their brain?
If they taking everything from pushing a button, now I love it. I can hit it and say, "Hey, chat, send Mr. Johnson a note. I appreciate being with him today," and it'll do that. You know, it'll pick it and all I do is hit the button. I like that. But in terms of scholarship and study, I'm afraid that's going to be keeping stuff going that
should not be going.
Should
we
not-
fought, that we
yeah,
fought not
yeah,
to have happen to
yeah.
us.
That's my fear. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
But
you
it's
know it's going to come.
It's here.
You know it's
here.
coming and you
It's
know
here.
it's moving, so you try to brace it. And you try to help your children want to be people who write, who read, so that they can do their own writing and reading. That's what we said all the time we were fighting for. Now we're going to have some machine do the writing and reading for us?
Yeah, I was.
So that's
I've
my
read-
fear.
I read somewhere they're developing some way you just go to sleep and when you wake up you know everything you need to know.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, and now we're looking at AIs helping us in terms of getting plans
Yeah.
and designs.
Yeah.
You know, they're just hitting it and it's there.
Taking
Right.
it all away from us.
Yeah.
Okay, now who's losing jobs?
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
the people.
You know, I mean, you know, like we're looking at, well, here are duplexes, here 59, and you don't have to get an architect now.
Right.
All you have to do is pay them $25 or whatever it is
Right. Right.
for their plan, and you're gone.
Right. And that's what's happening though.
So where am I?
That's what's happening. So should we tell the youngsters out there to look into learning how to use AI?
Oh yeah, you got to learn.
They got
You
to.
learn. You got to see.
You gotta
folks
learn.
Just looking at
You got to learn to use.
You got to. You got to do it.
We have a saying in our denomination. You say you must be prepared to plunder the Egyptians.
That's it.
When God let the people go out of slavery, he said, go to your neighbor and ask for what you want.
That's right.
And the Egyptians set them up to leave.
Get out. So anyway,
Yeah, right? So we got, if AI's out there and we need it for what we got to do,
Yeah.
we got to know how to use it.
That's right.
And also to make sure that they're not using it against.
That's right. See, so that's what I want to. You know,
Yeah.
when our time is running. It's,
you want
it's time like
Wow, it's
it
gone.
seems like we. This time ran too fast. I don't know if that clock is right.
but you got a lot of information which you normally would not get better than 4, 5, 7, and 2. You got it from the black press. And I just want to say real quickly, thanks, Dr. McCray, but the black press has been involved with America's freedom, starting with Frederick Douglass.
Since it was in America.
And that's how we are America because of the Buffalo Soldier. Just want to shout out to all the veterans. But actually, the Tabernacle, the group has been involved with technology with their tech centers. They've been teaching people in the community for years how to use computers and how
Oh,
to
wow.
advance. So they've been doing that. But you got
That's at our FRH sites
Is that right? Oh wow.
that are preparing you at Westside Courts.
Oh, you gotta hit
Pits.
me. You gotta
And-
introduce me to those people. 'cause
Okay. all right.
Maybe they could start doing the architectural plans for the.
let them get it started up here.
Yeah. For,
But we just get introduced and start together. That's
Yeah,
all
we
we can
should.
do. See what we got, what we
Yeah.
have, and what we need.
Give
well,
them some final words.
I just want to thank you so much for taking your time because I know you're busy as hell, man. And when you send me all that all that stuff that you did and been doing, man, I mean, you're a terrific guy, man. I didn't know, man. I just thought you was a
Let
youngster,
me shake
man.
your
Running
hand.
around,
Thank you, Joe.
I am a youngster.
running around, you know, and I didn't know you was a preacher that long at Jones. I'd seen you a number of times, but I thought you was just coming in, and I didn't know you really was a preacher, man.
Right.
You know, just
My time was gone before they realized I was a
Yeah,
preacher.
yeah,
30 years.
yeah.
Boswell and them stayed
Yeah.
so
Give them some
long.
closing remarks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in closing, you want to say anything to the public in closing?
Lean forward a little bit.
I would want to say that our theme is, again, the text, but it says, seek the welfare of the city. Seek the welfare of the city. For in its welfare, you will find your welfare.
That's right.
It is as we give ourselves to these issues that matter to us that we receive gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And our community continues to be that beacon. And we are a beacon in this country that we have to suffer, yes, but the suffering gets transformed into such glory. And I am just so thankful. And thank you for this time.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you
much,
too, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And for you out there that are watching, tune into Mirrors of Our Time. What time, Mr. Johnson? Producer.
What we produce it on Wednesdays. It's produced
You got
and
3
it's
minutes.
aired on Mondays at 7:00. So if and then throughout the week, if people call in, they'll air it again. So thank you very much for watching and get involved. You know, you've
Seek
heard
the
what the
welfare.
man has said.
Seek the
You
welfare.
go to church, pray, and get involved. Don't just be kicking back, sitting in be a college what is it called? College potato.
House.
House potato.
Yeah.
House potato.
Get involved in your community.
Yeah.
And we want to actually say the first millionaire, the first million that is sent to Tabernacle in prayer, tell them that you saw this show and it touched your heart, that you wanted to help save a dying race and promote equal opportunity to qualified developers in this nation. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much.
That's it. We're done. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, man.
I hope I was helpful.
You were very helpful.
I'm helpful.
Man,
I
that's
was
going to
kinda-
go down in history. You might win an Oscar.
No,
That's how they're made.